go ahead, John.
So Coach Sheridan, when you look at the offense and the way you guys played for the whole game, I guess, do you chalk it up a lot of it to first game rust and things like that? Or is it more, or are there things schematically you feel like you can do different and refine and polish?
Well, certainly we didn't play well for a large portion of the game. Obviously proud on how we finished and how the guys kept battling. Are there things schematically that Penn State did that we can do better as coaches to put our players in good positions? Without a doubt. I think you're going to say that every week, that there's some things that you wish you could make easier for the players. But we need to execute better. We need to coach better. Ultimately that falls on my shoulders. But our execution was not at the level that we had seen in camp, and certainly not at the level that we expect our guys to do. So we need to coach better. That starts with me. And then certainly I know the players are going to take responsibility for the things that they feel like they can improve on and do a better job of. And I fully expect us to do that.
Bob Kravitz and then Tom Brew. Bob, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Nick, at what point during that final drive did Coach Allen tell you we're going for two? And when you do go for two, what were the options on that particular play?
I can't tell you the exact time that Coach communicated that to us, but I certainly know it was, it wasn't a rushed decision. It was something that had been communicated. I'm trying to reflect back on that. I can't tell you the exact time. I just know it was communicated ahead of time. And on that particular play, there's a lot of options, without getting into too much detail because we might run the play again. But we tried to put our best players having an opportunity to touch the ball. And obviously Michael understood the situation, and the ball is automatically in his hand because he's the quarterback. So, it was a pass play, had options. It had some of our best players as being primary targets in the concept. And then obviously Mike created a play, which he knows in that situation, sometimes that's what's required for the quarterback is to make something happen. And he certainly did. So we tried to put, I think in those situations, you always think of players, you try to put your best players with an opportunity to touch the ball. And certainly we're fortunate that one of our best players touches the ball as soon as the ball snapped. So he did a great job there and made a phenomenal play. And we're thankful for that.
Tom Brew, then Matt Weaver.
Nick, this is with this being your first game calling plays and such. Two things I'd like to ask you if you don't mind. The first three first down plays you had were all running plays. Kind of conservative look, certainly in hindsight. But I wanted to know how you go about evaluating your performance from a play calling standpoint of the course of the game, and how you go about doing that.
Yeah, that's a great question. Certainly, as I mentioned earlier, the performance of the offense falls on my shoulders. And I first look at myself in ways that I could be better. I think when you evaluate yourself as a play caller, you're trying to see if the plays that you called schematically are sound, that if the players executed at the level that you're expecting them to, do we have a good play? If we block the right people, if we run the correct routes, make the right reads, if we execute it at the level we expect, is it sound schematically? Or we have people accounted for in the run game? Do we have receivers open in the throw game? Are we protected the correct way? Without a doubt, there's plays at every game you look back and you say, I wish I called something else. I think there's always that's going to happen every game. There's however many plays, 60, 70, 80 snaps. I think there's always going to be games, every game you're going to look back and say, man, I wish I called something different there. But there were plenty of plays where I felt comfortable with the call and we need to execute a little bit better. And there's plenty of plays I felt like I can do a better job. I can put our players in a better position to be successful. And you're constantly evaluating that. You're trying to be your toughest critic. You're open for suggestions from the other staff because they can see it from a different lens. And we had, communication yesterday on things that we would have done differently, could have done differently to try to make it easier on the players. And then there's some times where the players got to execute better too. And they know that. We communicate that very clearly and very honestly with the players. But ultimately the performance of the offense falls on my shoulders. It starts with the play call, and then obviously it ends with the execution. Did we execute the play properly? And some cases we did, some cases we didn't, for sure.
Thank you, Nick.
Matt and Kevin.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Well, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm not sure how much you've gotten into it, but I'm guessing you guys have probably started to break down Rutgers a little bit. Coach Allen just mentioned, obviously, all new staff, new head coach, everything's different. What have you seen early on from their defense, things they like to do, things that you're going to have to kind of counteract when you go up against them this Saturday?
Yeah, well, there are some connections with my family and the staff there. My dad coached for Coach Shiano at Tampa, was his defensive coordinator. Coach Smith was there. I just know the quality of people that they are, and I know the quality of coaches that they are, and they're men of integrity. They're extremely hardworking. They're passionate about coaching and teaching the game of football, and I think that showed in the opening game. I know the things that they would be emphasizing from a fundamental standpoint on defense, which is similar to what we would emphasize here, and obviously the takeaways proved to be a huge deciding factor in that game, which it always is, and I know, they're teaching ball disruptions every single day in practice. They're teaching tackling every single day in practice. And I think those fundamentals showed up for them defensively, without a doubt. So I know they're going to be extremely well coached. I know they're going to play with great effort, great toughness, great technique. And that's a reflection of their staff, which I have the utmost respect for. And obviously, as I mentioned, the connections there, for my family and their staff. So I have the utmost respect for Coach Shiano, Coach Smith, the rest of the guys on their staff. And I know they're doing a fantastic job, and we expect it to be a very competitive and tough and physical game. And we're going to have to execute a whole lot better than we did this past week.
Kevin Brockway, then Jim Coyle.
Hey, Coach. Stevie had 20 out of the 21 carries among running backs. Samson won. Just curious about going forward. I mean, how much was that based on evaluation of practice? And going forward, do you see possible opportunities for Samson to get more touches, or does he have to show more in practice in that regard?
Well, I think for all the young players, they need to gain the trust of their coaches and their teammates in practice. And I'm not speaking specifically about Samson, but since you just posed the question, we want to play more players. We felt like Stevie was running the ball well, protecting extremely well. There were a lot of different pressures that were being ran on Saturday, and certainly the protection is an element of that. But certainly we want to play some more players. We want to spread the ball around a little bit more evenly. Just being totally honest and transparent, we didn't have that many snaps in the first half. I think we had like 22 snaps or something like that. There weren't that many plays. Some of that was our doing. Some of it was we got the ball on the 5-yard line and scored in 2 plays, and so I think we went 3 and out the first 2 drives, and then we scored a touchdown, and then we got the ball, so there just weren't that many snaps. And then certainly in the second half, we didn't do much to create more opportunities for players to touch the ball, and so that's really the charge to us as offensive coaches is, we never really got into a rhythm. We never strung together drive after drive. We had a drive in the first half where we scored a touchdown. I think we were 6 plays, 65 yards or something like that. We looked like a good offense. We threw the ball, we caught it, we ran the ball well. Stevie had a nice touchdown run. And then there were large portions of the game where we did not execute and we didn't have any rhythm. We didn't get going. We were 3 and out, or we threw an interception on the first play of the drive. So as far as touches go, you need more plays. You need more opportunities so that more guys can get involved. And obviously that would impact the number of touches that, the running backs would be distributed amongst the group is, you're in more favorable situations and more opportunities. And that's for everybody. That's for all the positions, tight ends, wide outs, running backs is, we played an overtime game. I still think we had 60-some snaps, which is not very many. So if you have more plays, you have a better rhythm, you execute better, you have more opportunities for multiple guys to touch the ball, and certainly we're going to need to do that as the season moves on.
Jim Coyle, then Paul Gable.
Nick, I sent out a tweet earlier today that going into this game, you were a rookie offensive coordinator, and now you're simply the offensive coordinator for the 17th ranked team in the country. Coming out of that game, how much confidence does it give you on what you're trying to do as a coordinator in those kind of games, even though the team didn't play that well, but everything worked and got a big, big win? How much confidence can you build off of that?
Well, I think the biggest thing that we're building off is that our kids performed at their best level when it mattered the most. We were not very good for the majority of the game. I know that you guys all know that. We watched the same game that you guys watched, but when it mattered the most, we were fantastic, and our quarterback played fantastic down the stretch. And that won't be the last time that we're in a tight game in the fourth quarter. I mean, we're playing, an all-conference schedule. And so every week, you're going up against high-quality competition, and you're going to be in close games. And so I think the confidence that we can execute at a high level at the end of the game when it matters the most, I think that's something to build on. And now the challenge is let's execute at that level, which we've shown we're capable of. Do it down in and down out on a Tuesday practice, do it on a Wednesday practice, do it on a Friday walkthrough, and then do it for the first 3.5 quarters of a game. And then have the confidence that if we're still in a tight game at the end, that we can make the plays to go win it. So that's probably what we're most confident in. I thought the mentality of the players was outstanding. I thought we preached 1-0 and playing the next snap. And for them to do what they did at the end of the game, I think that's a testament to Coach Allen and the culture that we're building here. And I give a ton of credit to our players because it was hard. It was hard for a long time, and it was a grind. And our kids hung in there. And when it mattered, and we were given an opportunity, they were fantastic. And so, just like to be fantastic a lot earlier and a lot more often in the game.
And what about for yourself, though, to get through that first game and not only get through it, but to get through it with such a historic win as your first game as coordinator?
Yeah. Well, I had confidence going into the game. Obviously, our film is our evaluator, so we need to do a better job coaching. But I have tremendous confidence in our staff, and I have even more confidence in our players, which I think is it gives you great peace of mind as a play caller that the players can make plays when it matters. And so it's our job to make sure that we do our best to put them in a position to do that for all 4 quarters. But no doubt, it gives you a ton of confidence that, you have the players to go win a game like that when it wasn't pretty and we didn't play well for the large majority of it, that they're going to hang in there and fight and have the confidence that they can make a play at the end and go win it. So we have tremendous confidence, and we know it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. We don't want it to be easy. We know that this season is going to have ups and downs, and we have confidence that we can stay the course and keep battling and being 1-0 and playing the next play.
All right, Paul Gable to wrap up. Nick?
Hey, Coach. Talk a little bit about the job that your young wide receivers did down the stretch for you when the game mattered most. They really came up with 3 big catches for you guys. Incredible.
Yeah, I thought it was incredible. And I think the credit can be spread around to their coach and them. And, we addressed the whole unit on Thursday after practice at each position that you just don't know who is going to have to step up to make a play. And that was at all positions. We obviously have a 2 deep at every position. And so my charge to the guys that were the first group is to make sure that your unit is ready to play. And that's from the starters to the immediate backups to possibly our emergency reserve, that everybody, when counted on, when needed, they could go in there and execute their job. And for Javon and Jacoby to step up in a huge way and make some great catches, obviously on the last drive, it was phenomenal. And I'm happy for those kids. And now we get to coach them even harder. We get to push them even more because there were still things that they could improve on, just like there's things that we could improve on as a staff. So I was extremely proud of them, happy for them. And it just shows what they can be. And I think it gives them confidence to know that in a critical moment, whenever my number's called, that they'll be ready to execute and do their job.